What are you gonna say? Early Jeff Tate, Queensryche. Back in the day, stuff was good. Run behind, so my lighting's a little funky today, I think. But all right, let's get to this. We have a microphone, and we have questions. The folks. And can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? We good? Can you hear? Yeah? Hope so. All right. Good morning. I'm Robert Lunte from the Vocalist Studio. I'm a voice coach and teacher of students, teachers, voice coaches, and I have a piece of hair falling down in the middle of my head this morning. In addition to that, I wrote a book and have an online course that is helping singers around the planet. And this is our live Q&A customer service broadcast for students of the Vocalist Studio, people that are working with either the full course or the warm-up course, or probably by the end of the day, we'll be launching a new course, the third one, which is Robert Lunte Live. Basically what it is, I've taken content from our Training Vocal Athletes Masterclass tour that we did this last spring in Germany, Italy, and France, and here in Seattle, and sort of put it all together and turned it into little learning moments. It's very cool because it's very live and improv at the master classes, and cut it up into little lessons and turn it into a course. So you'll hear more about that later, perhaps. But for now, we've got questions. And today's broadcast is brought to you by, drumroll please. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the good people at Fafine Pro Audio products, including microphones. This is the K6, the Fafine K6 microphone. They were kind enough to send this to me. And here's the real honest to God, genuine story about this microphone. They said, hey, Robert, would you take a look at our microphone? And if you like it, would you recommend it? Would you say something nice about our microphone to your students? I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. So then I go out to Amazon.com, I take a look at it, and it's a $17 mic. Okay, it's a $17 mic. So I'm sort of thinking, okay, well, let's see what happens. So we made the arrangements, and they sent me this microphone. This is, again, it's the Fafine K6. It's got a nice little off-on switch here. Okay. I get the microphone, I plug it in, and you know what? To be completely honest with you, for 17 bucks for a $20 microphone, this is a really good mic. It sounds great. I mean, it's huge, actually.
We've got to cut down on songs here. Sorry about that. Actually, in our last broadcast, we talked a lot about mics, and I talked about how I like microphones that have sort of a nice ergonomic thin shape like this, you see, so that I could use my partially cupped cradle grip. And also, I like mics that are boomy, that give it boom, 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 that sort of amplify lower frequencies. That's just I'm not saying that's something we should all look for or that you should have to have. Just for me, it's something I prefer. Okay, and this microphone, for a $20 microphone, it is really boomy, actually, and like it's got a huge boom to it. So
So I like that about it. Plus, you can't beat the price. So here's what I'm saying. If you're looking for a really good deal, all right, on a microphone, if you don't have $100 or $150 for one of the mics we talked about last week, all right, and you're just looking for something you can start with, to practice with, to do karaoke with, or to train your TVS scales and workouts with, or you're a kid, you've got his paper route money, and $20 is all you got, but you want your own microphone. This would be the one. I recommend this. This is the Fifine K6. A really good value. Dirt cheap, $20. Sounds like a $100 mic, honestly. So good job, guys. Great microphone, and thank you for sending it to me. All right, let's get on with our questions. Good morning, team. Rachel, it's lovely to see you here. Faizan, good to see you. Good morning. Ava, good to see you. Frankie, any tips for tongue root tension? Interesting. I have, by the way, I have questions already staged, okay, that I've written down through the week, and from last week they roll over. We get so many questions that we have to sort of roll over. If you're asking a question today, I'll do my best to get to it, but we might not be able to get to it till next week. All right, but hang tight. All right, so Frankie, hang tight. Barry, welcome. Any tips? Frankie, I'll tell you this. There are tongue in the 4 pillars of singing. In the online course, there is a lecture on tongue placement. So go there. Go look at that. All right. And by the way, I'm not doing this to do tips. I don't give away free tips. It might look like a free tip, but it's not really what we're doing. This is Q&A for students that have purchased the program and to help you get through the program and the techniques a little better. Tips are all out at YouTube. This is a class for students. Yeah, so my question is, when working on the first onset and following through your example, how do I know if I am moving up the scale correctly? Is it just practice? Just to get progressively higher pitch as I work on up the scale? Anyway, I may eventually book a few lessons with you, Robert. Do you have people that can't sing and you coax it out of them as well? Anyway, sorry for the silly question. 2 questions in here, actually. One is, how do I know I'm going up a scale when I'm training? And the other one is, do I offer lessons to people to coax them to become better? Well, the answer to these questions are sort of obvious, aren't they? I mean, how do you know when you're training if you're going up a scale? Well, in the training content, there's pre-recorded scales, all right? And what you want to do is you're supposed to be matching your voice to the notes of the scale. So if you feel like you're matching the notes in the scale, then you're following the scale. So when you're following the scale, you're following the scale. And if you're not, it's sort of obvious because it sounds there's dissonance in the sound. When you're out of pitch, you can kind of tell. This is another reason why you want to train the onsets. Onsets work out the special motor skills in all of that we spoke about before. But the onsets also help you if you're a raw beginner. And that damn piece of hair. And that raw beginner, the onsets will help you to tune to the note. You poke a note and you tune to it. Okay. One thing that I might recommend is that when you're standing by your keyboard and you're working on your onsets in the training program, that you also have tuning software available. Okay. So download a tuning app to your phone or to your iPad and use it. Use it to tune your voice. And I've done that right here in this studio with students. We get a good old-fashioned kind of guitar tuning app with a has a little meter. The note you're trying to get is in the middle, and it sort of, you're a little flat, you're a little sharp, you're a little flat, and you just try to tune it. That's a really good idea for some beginners that are trying to get a feel for, am I matching the note or not? Now, to some of you, that might sound unusual. How do you know? I mean, if you're matching the note, you know it. I mean, how do you not know that you're matching the note? As a teacher, I can tell you there are some people who don't. They don't know that they're actually singing on the note or not singing on the note, okay? And so some folks need to develop their neurolinguistics, their ear, whatever in the neural system is required to be able to recognize, oh, I'm on the right note now. It takes practice, okay? Some people. So anyways, that's my advice to you, Sim, is that you work on the onsets one note at a time, okay? And there's a recorded file that allows you to do that I created that's provided for you in the program, or you can just stand by a keyboard and do it yourself. But also get a tuning app. Get an app that tells you if you're flat or sharp, okay? All right, we got next. I'm gonna have a question for you. Do you have many people that can't sing but you can coax it out of them? Of course, that's what I do for a living. I mean, any voice coach can help somebody learn to sing better if they're a good coach. That's what we do. I mean, I help people learn to train, which then helps them learn how to sing better. That's my job. That's what I get paid for. That's how we're paying for that's what the book and everything is all about. All right. So if I wasn't able to take people that can't sing and I wasn't able to coax it out of them, we wouldn't be having this conversation. There wouldn't be a Facebook group. There wouldn't be a laptop on this stand. I would be digging a ditch somewhere. Okay. Nothing wrong with digging ditches. I've done it before. All right, so let's move on. Thank you, Simon. Daniela says, one of my questions is why I can't access to the exercises. Okay, I did everything you say, but I don't appear as you said. Can you help me? So from time to time, I get communications that are not related to technique, but related to technology. Just basically, how do I point and click and log in? It's very intuitive for some folks, and others they need a little extra help. No big deal. If you have one of the light courses, if you're out on Udemy, go to lecture number 2, okay? Lecture number 2 and lecture number 3 has all the links and all the passwords and all the instructions, step by step, written very carefully on what you should do and how to get in, okay? Now, if you follow those instructions and you go out to the training page and the files still don't sort of pop open and play if they're not playing, I assure you it's not because something's wrong with my program. By this time that's all been worked out. It works great, and there's about, at any given time, there's 1,000 people on that page working it, and if there was a real problem, I'd be getting 1,000 emails real quick. It doesn't happen. So if you're having a problem, go to the top of the page. There's a list of troubleshoot things. There's a bullet list that I created of things that you can do to make the files play. All right. Now and then it includes things like refresh the browser, try a new browser, try a new connection, try it on a different device, try it on a laptop, different device. Usually that does it. Okay. Refresh the browser, try a new browser, try a different device, try a different connection, walk away, have a cup of coffee, come back. It's fine. My system works fine. So if you're having problems, log in to the training page and go up at the top, and it'll work great. As far as Udemy is concerned, I mean, Udemy is this huge global company, and they probably spend, $100,000 a year on hosting power, ping, and protection for their servers and stuff. That thing is you can't break it. All right, it's made for everybody. Okay, so clear on that. Follow the instructions. Lecture number 2 gets you all the logins, and then when you go in, if you're having problems, your computer or your phone or whatever isn't responding, refresh, try a different browser, try a different connection, etc., yada yada. All right, next question. That's a good one, though. That's a good question. I really want people to be able to get in and do it. Right? If you can't log in, and if the technology is creating a problem for you, well, then that's a concern. So we want to make sure that's clear. Next, we have Vanessa. Vanessa says, "Hi, I have a question of whether I should start reading a bit from the book first and then watch the video lectures, or the other way around. Also, I'm a bit confused about why the first lesson is about bridging." All right, so it's 2 questions there. Simple question. This is a common question I get as well. "Hey, Robert, I got the book, I got the full course. Should I read the book first and then go to the course, or should I do the course first and then do the book, or how should I manage my time?" It's a great question, because the 4 pillars of singing is big. All right, so it can be sort of a little confusing on where do I start. Okay, number 1, inside the training page, if you go out to my training page, there are training workflow guides. I created them. They're like little workflow bubble maps, little Visio diagrams that show you what to do on how to train for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So I created a little flow chart for you guys. All right, so go find those. They're out at the My Training page. Okay. 2, the book is a full-color 616-page book. It's quite lovely. That's the one thing that's really good about it. But if there's something challenging about it, is that it's a 616-page book. Okay. The book is really a complementary piece that goes with the course. All right. You have to have the course if you're going to train. You have to have the course. If you only have the book but you don't have the course, you don't have training. You can't train the TVS methodology. You can't become a better singer from this. You don't have what you need. So what I'm saying to you is the course is probably the most important. Inside the course are the lectures and the training content, the scales and everything that we're talking about. The book is sort of a complementary value add that goes with the course. I recommend the book. The value that you get out of the book is it teaches you a lot about the language and the methodology. So when we talk about onsets or vowel modification or training workflows or integrated training routines, these are terms that you hear in the TVS methodology. If you read the book, then that all becomes really super clear. Okay? But dive into that course and knock out 2 to 4 lectures a day and make sure that you train. So get the book, read the book. It makes you smart. You understand the methodology and understand what we're talking about. That's important. 2, make sure that, even more important than that, make sure that you're in that course and you're doing lectures every single day. And then he didn't ask the question, but it's sort of the same question, which is, well, should I watch all the lectures first and then do the training? No, because there's 190 lectures. I don't want you guys to do that. Okay, we're training vocal athletes. This is a lot about training. Okay, it's lovely that we have a lovely book. It's great, and it's great that we have lovely lectures that we can watch and kick back and have a cup of coffee and watch me be Professor Robert. That's fine. I want you to do that. Take the quizzes. But the day that you get this program, the very day you get this program, dive in and start training. Start training. Make time to read the book and do the courses and watch the lectures, but do not wait to train. Because if you wait, it can very quickly turn into procrastination. Okay? Don't let that happen. Okay? You purchase my course, there's study time, and then there's training time, but make sure that you're training, all right? I don't want my students being people that are just sort of take in information and get smarter about training and learn a method, but don't actually do it. I don't like that, okay? In this studio, in this dojo, in this school, it's the real deal. So we actually get out and we train and we get real results. We don't just talk about it, right? That's tough love coach to you guys. I want you to get real results. So go to work immediately. Where's my easy button?
That was easy.
All right, next question. Hayden says, hey Robert, I started immersing myself in your amazing course. One thing I'm freaking out about is that I've sung and written a fair amount of pivotal notes in my songs in falsetto. It's emotionally expressive to sing in falsetto, and fans can be drawn in by it. Is this damaging my voice? All right, interesting question. Hayden says, hey, I love your program, thank you. I've written songs, and I do a lot of singing in falsetto a lot in my songs, and it tends to draw my audience in. I like what it does, but you know, it's falsetto, it's this windy position. Is it damaging my voice? No. Falsetto is not damaging your voice, Hayden. Falsetto is, in some sense, barely a voice. I mean, falsetto is one of the 8 physical vocal modes characterized by a large amount of respiration bleeding through the glottis, resulting in a real sort of Shirley Temple girly sound.
Falsetto, we get this sound color because I've opened up my glottis and I'm moving a lot of wind, okay? And this is also sound color you get. Sure, from time to time you might want to sing like this. Maybe you're a PG, maybe you're a Tiny Tim. I don't know what the situation is. Maybe you're going to sing in falsetto once in a while.
Falsetto is a sound color you might want to use on a rare occasion, but falsetto is also a very weak position. The musculature in falsetto is pretty much non-existent. Okay? Falsetto is like one step away from making this sound color. Okay? So you got this, which isn't really doing much for you. Or you got falsetto. And then after falsetto, we begin to build some musculature. You begin to build the TA, the belt techniques, so your dampen and release onset, and your glottal attacks, and your integrated training routines designed for strength building, cry mode, all this stuff that builds motor skills and strength in the larynx, primarily to get out of falsetto. Falsetto will always be there for you, by the way. It's what I call a primitive physical mode, which means you don't really necessarily have to train to get into falsetto. It's just there. So that's more evidence that it's not going to hurt you. It's part of being a human being to falsetto. Hayden, if you and I went back in time, all right, if we had a time machine, we went back in time and we stood in front of some cavemen, and we asked them, we said to the caveman, we said, okay, caveman, we want you to do this. All right? They wouldn't be able to do it because that takes training and motor skills, and that's an athletic endeavor. It's like doing a cartwheel. You have to learn how to do it, okay? But if we went to a caveman, and they don't understand what we're saying, right? And we went to a caveman and we said, do this. Ha, ha. You do this. Ha. A caveman would be able to go, they'd look at each other and go, huh? Ha. And they'd be able to do it. All right? This is why certain physical modes in the book and in the course are classified as primitive or trained, all right? Falsetto is a primitive mode. It's something that everybody can do. I mean, just go out to the street and talk to 10 people that don't give a rip about singing or training, and they'll go, oh, for you. But that's evidence that it's certainly not going to hurt you. Okay? On the other hand, singing with twang compression and cry vocal mode and distortion and other things, these are trained configurations that take athletic motor skills and repetition. All right? So Hayden, it's certainly fine. What was your other question here? Is it damaging my voice? Okay, no, we're good. Are we good? Falsetto's not going to damage your voice. It's perfectly fine. But don't hang on to falsetto. You don't need my book and the course to sing in falsetto. Okay? If you want to sing in falsetto, then you're already doing that. This course and this book is, among other things, it's designed to help you to learn how to sing in your head voice without falsetto. Okay? All right. Please, Belinda says, please can you explain the difference between vocal fold compression and constriction? When I hear screaming, it sounds to me like the vocal cords are suffering. How do you avoid harm in the cords by beginners? If they scream without support, won't they harm their voices? Ah, what a great question. Thanks for that question. It sets me up to like explain something that's super cool. All right, Belinda. First of all, the difference between vocal fold compression and constriction. Well, compression is the measurement of force on vocal fold adduction. Left vocal fold, right vocal fold, you bring them together. I have a lot of compression. I have light compression. That's all. Compression is just sort of a scientific-y word for vocal fold closure, vocal fold adduction. All right? And then Belinda goes on to say, basically, I'm going to paraphrase. You know, I hear you and I hear other singers and students singing with vocal distortion. How do you do that? Because it sounds like it's hurting. Sounds like the vocal distortion is hurting your voice. So, by the way, Belinda is a classical singer. She comes a little bit from the classical world, so this whole contemporary ideas like distortion and stuff are new to her. So that's one reason why that would be confusing, because traditionally classical coaches in that world are gonna go, oh no, can't do distortion, no, can't do that, that's gonna hurt you all the time. All right, so here's the deal, Belinda, truth of the matter is there are ways to distort the voice that are unhealthy, absolutely, indeed, and they typically involve grinding the tissue. It's all the things that you're concerned about, all right? But in the last, gosh, I'd say about 10 years or so, there are new techniques that are rolling out that are now available to singers. Some of those techniques are available in my course, in my book, all right? Vocal distortion techniques. And there's another vocal distortion course that will be probably publishing in the next day or two with my partner Draven Gay. Me and Draven work together to do a vocal distortion course. Actually, it's mostly Draven's course, but I was invited to add some of my distortion techniques in it. So we've got a really great vocal distortion courses coming. But anyways, I guess that's sort of the point. These days, vocal distortion can be trained. Healthy vocal distortion can be trained. Unhealthy vocal distortion involves constricting, squeezing, tissue grinding. Healthier vocal distortion is making noise in the upper vocal tract. All right, so we have the vocal folds here, and we have the upper vocal tract, okay, right above the vocal folds. And when you break up the fractal synergy, the fractal geometry of a nice, clean, tuned vowel, when you break that up, when you disrupt that by adding noise above the vocal folds, you get distortion. Now, to the ear, to the untrained ear, it sounds like it's painful. It sounds like tissue grinding distortion, because the ear can't really, well, my ears can tell, a teacher can tell, somebody who trains this kind of distortion can certainly tell whether it's the healthy kind or not the healthy kind, but somebody who doesn't have experience with it won't be able to know. But isn't that the point? Distortion is a vocal effect. Its purpose is to be an illusion. It's the illusion that I'm grinding tissue. It's the illusion that I'm hurting myself and giving it all I got and giving you the, all the blood to get the note out. Fine, let the audience think that. That's perfectly fine. It makes it even more amazing than what it actually is. But the truth is, the distortion that I use when I sing, or distortion that any good singer uses consistently over and over and over again through the years, or what Draven and I are teaching in our upcoming distortion course, this is healthy. And I really mean it when I tell you, I can do distortion, certain kinds of distortion all day long, and it won't make me tired. Why? Because it's not the tissue, it's not tissue grinding. It's just noise. It's just spit and a disruption of the sound energy in the upper vocal tract. It's benign. It's wind and spit. Okay, and so I'm not really hurting myself. It sounds like maybe I am, but I'm not. And that's one of the things that makes distortion super cool. Okay, and the techniques. But training distortion is sort of an advanced thing. It's not something that we recommend for beginners. You want to learn how to warm up, learn how to get into cry mode, learn how to get registrated through your vocal break and into your head voice, get good, clean, powerful, boomy notes first, and then begin to flirt with adding distortion. Okay? So, short answer is, Belinda, when you hear a lot of contemporary singers and coaches, so just famous people or someone like myself or Draven, whatever, doing distortion, it's not unhealthy. It's only the illusion that it is. We're not grinding tissue or squeezing hard on something. That's not what's happening. It's a manipulation of the articulators to create a disruption of the resonance or sound energy in the upper vocal tract. And I also believe that it includes a little bit of moisture, a little bit of spit, a little bit of raspberry, a little bit of, okay, through the vocal folds. All of this conspires to create cool vocal distortion. In my program, there are three kinds of distortion. There is the uncompressed overlay distortion, there's the compressed overlay distortion technique, and then there's the extreme scream distortion, just sort of the screamo stuff on an inhale, all right? And if you venture out to the course that Draven and I are publishing in the next few days, from what I hear, Draven's presenting a whole bunch of other additional distortion techniques. So if you want distortion, you probably got the best course on the planet coming on live any day now. Cool, Belinda. Good question, Belinda. That's an important question. All right, next. Faison. Faison, I think we're on your question here. Hey, Robert, I'm sorry to do this in a private chat, but since I moved to Denmark, sporadically, I have to suffer from sore throat and am unable to continue my practices. I was hoping if you knew some singing remedies. Faison's like, hey, I moved to Denmark, and if you haven't been to Denmark, it's a lot like Seattle. Cold, windy, rainy, okay? And ever since I moved to Denmark, I've got some throat problems or whatever. When you change the environment that you're living in, that happens. So if you suddenly go to another climate, your body has to adjust, and that's not uncommon. I'm sure you'll get used to it. But cutting to the chase, there is a product that I do recommend that's made for singers that can help you. I'll go ahead and type it in here. It's called Singer's Tea. Okay, there it is. Go to singerstea.com, and there's tea out there that's made for singers, sort of a minty tea that helps help kind of soothe and coat the throat and help you sing a little better. And then there's a cool vocal inhaler. It's a highly vaporous menthol eucalyptus inhaler that you place to your nose. Inhale it and it opens your sinuses, gives you a little buzz too. So it's really great for singing. Go to singerstea.com and take a look at that product. It's great. Joe, that's an alias. He didn't want me to use his real name. Joe says, hey, Robert. How come everybody starts with, hey, Robert? I mean, it's okay, but it'd be nice to get Coach once in a while, or maybe Maestro. All right. Hey, Robert. I found you on a Reddit thread. Cool. I think. I then saw some of your Alice in Chains covers. He saw me singing some Alice in Chains. I do 2 Alice in Chains songs out on YouTube. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. I've been looking for a good course for rock singing. I have a couple questions. All right, here comes these questions from Alias Joe. Number 1, the tone color of Maynard James Keenan from Tool. Do you think a baritone could get a similar sound as him? Would you classify him as a baritone or tenor as in the classical sense, or what we would call vocal Fach? Vocal Fach, all right? That's F-A-C-H. It's German. Bass, baritone, tenor, alto, soprano. That's your vocal Fach, all right? As you mentioned in your baritone video in regards to singing high notes. All right. So basically, I'm paraphrasing here. Alias Joe is, well, hey, but the Maynard from Tool. I'm a baritone. Can I make sound colors similar to Maynard from Tool? Yes, of course. Yes, if you're trained. If you train. If you learn how to shift the resonance in your oral cavity, if you learn about vowels, if you train your tongue and your palate and your upper vocal tract to articulate and shape vowels and create different resonance and different colors and all of that, if you learn how to retract your tongue, if you do the things that are required to become really like a vocal athlete, to get athletic articulation skills, which is what you need to sing well. If you train, yes, of course you can. Will it sound exactly like Maynard? No, because only Maynard sounds exactly like Maynard. But we kind of get a similar, can you produce sort of a similar color just by listening to it, kind of match it and get close to it? Of course. Of course. If you train. It's, you see, it's not about vocal Fach. It's about sound color is really about a lot of things, but including the vowels and the resonance. Right? When you start training this program and these workouts and you start applying it to singing, and you're singing songs from anybody, including Tool, you'll begin to, the training teaches your body how to sort of tune the color. Not the pitch, not tuning pitch or frequency like tuning a guitar, but we also, as singers, we tune the color. You can begin to tune the color through the skills that you get through the repetition of training. I mean, that's an easy button.
That was easy.
Start training, and then when you go to sing a Tool song, it'll be.
That was easy.
All right, that's it. All right, next. I really like this next question from Joe Alias. He has 2 questions. The next one is, I have a nice following on YouTube. He has a channel. He's got a following on YouTube. It's great. For doing guided meditations. He's got a YouTube channel where they do guided meditations. It sounds cool. Go check it out. Do you think your exercises could improve my speaking voice? do you think your exercises could improve my speaking voice? I love that question. Yup. Yup. Yes, yes. In particular, the warm-ups. Go get the warm-up course or do the warm-ups in the big course. The warm-ups improve your speaking voice. Absolutely. And the reason I'm sort of passionate and excited about that is recently I've been working with public speaking coaches, people that don't care about singing, but they're interested in speaking publicly in front of investors or keynote speakers, public speaking thought leader folks. And where I'm just beginning to work with these people to help them learn how to animate and amplify their speaking voice. Okay, that's super important. And it just so happens that the warm-ups, the workouts that we do in the book and in the course are exactly the right thing to do to warm up and get healthy for public speaking. And it's very coincidental, guys. The reason we're doing this broadcast on Wednesday today and not tomorrow on Thursday is precisely because I'm a master trainer with a company called Fire Up, and what we do is we help companies learn how to make more effective presentations. Okay, they're not singing involved, but it's how to present to the team, to the investors, keynotes, that sort of thing, in a way that doesn't put people to sleep. I'm a master trainer in that organization, all right? And in addition to experience in front of a camera and things, what I can bring to those engagements is the vocal health element. I'm sort of the vocal health warm-up guy on the team, okay? That's in fact what I'm doing tomorrow and Friday. I'm doing exactly that. So that's why we're doing this on Wednesday. Absolutely. And out on YouTube, there's an interview, did an interview earlier this year where I talked about vocal health and warming up for public speaking. So for sure, I'm very enthusiastic about people using these techniques for public speaking. It's important and it works. All right, thank you for your questions, Joe, alias. Next, wow, we're busting through questions today. We have a question from Ray Therian. Ray's got a real cool name. Ray is in the teaching. All right, with that, good day, guys. Go to Facebook and YouTube, and you'll be able to see a replay of this, and I'll see you next week on Thursday. I love you. Good day.